Welcome back to the Nach on Sports, and joining me in studio to preview the NFC AFC Championship game, it is Brandan Schultz from the Seahawks podcast. Brandan, always great to talk to you, man. And unfortunately, as much as I enjoy talking with you, we're getting down to the final games of the NFL season.
Even though the Seahawks season is over, we still have a couple weeks left, but it's coming down to the end here.
That's disappointing for me because that means I don't know what I'm going to do with my Sundays anymore after that.
Yeah, it's a long off season for if you're not a baseball fan, if you're not a hockey or NBA fan. That could be a long time till the NFL season rolls back around again.
I was about to say, I guess I'll be diving into a lot of draft books and draft analysis.
That's about all you can do. And then once camps roll around, that's not exciting. I
was going to say, I think the killer, though, is like the month of June, because in July, you're just kind of waiting for training camp.
Yeah, June and July are 2 long months.
Yes,
you got the draft, and then you have a couple weeks to be excited about the draft and how your team did. But
that's about it.
That's about it.
Well, with that, Brandan, let's talk about this past weekend, man. What did you take away from this weekend? Obviously, not a lot of interesting games. The Eagles-Saints game was interesting, but that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. All the other games, just blowouts by the time I felt like I even turned on the TV. Oh yeah, there's playoffs going on. And then you find a team that's already up by 2 touchdowns, whether it's the Chiefs or the Patriots. And, on the NFC side, gosh, the Rams, took care of Dallas pretty easily.
Yeah. And the funny part was I was watching that first half of that game, and I turned it on when Dallas is driving, and all of a sudden they hit Amari Cooper, after a penalty, and Amari Cooper goes for the touchdown. I'm like, and they're up 7-3, and I'm like, all right, yeah. Dallas is coming to play today. And then the rest happens.
But they had a time in the third quarter too where they had another drive and went for it on 4th down, right? 4th and 1, handed it off to Zeke Elliott and just pounds him right into the middle. Again, like the Rams couldn't see that coming after they had already run that play a couple times in that game. And it goes nowhere. They lose all the momentum, the Rams, and then the Rams are able to put it away. But if they are able to convert on that 4th and 1, I wasn't excited about that play call.
Well, that's why Scott Linehan's no longer the offensive coordinator for Dallas.
Yeah, well, that'll make Cowboys fans happy because they were upset with Linehan for almost the entirety of the season.
That's true. That is very true. Along with that, Brandan, I want to get your thoughts. We talked about those games there. We'll get into the AFC title games, but I really want to get your thoughts on this, man, because, you and I watched the Oklahoma-Alabama game over at Buffalo Wild Wings. I know you're a Sooner fan. Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury said it. I am quite sure, when he said that he didn't think he was going to be the head coach of the Cardinals and have the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. But do you buy any of that? Is Kyler Murray, are they going to trade Josh Rosen and pick up Kyler Murray?
Well, you're right. In no part of Cliff Kingsbury's mind did he ever envision that he would be, an NFL head coach come draft time the following year, and also a coach of the NFL team that would have the first pick. Like, he couldn't have envisioned that. No. None of us did.
No, not at all. I'm like, no way.
So I don't think there's no way he envisioned that. And so it's now coming back to bite him a little bit. 1, I don't think that they get rid of Josh Rosen. And 2, I think that Rosen might be the better quarterback to moving forward for the Cardinals than if they were to trade. Now, as a Seahawks fan, I would love it if he made that trade.
Not because you want to see the Cardinals be better.
No, I don't. I'm fine with them staying on the bottom. And I think, picking Kingsbury to be their coach shows kind of the direction that they're going. In the NFL, when they fire all these coaches, how did a general manager not lose his job?
That was a really, really good. Well, the only one that did was the Dolphins.
Right.
They cleaned up their front office.
Wasn't that early on in the season?
I don't remember. I thought it might have been.
Or there may have been one other team that fired their general manager just kind of in the off season, and it was just the Packers. Well, they didn't fire him, but
no, this is still the same guy, but because it was his first year on the job.
Yeah,
that was last off season that they fired the GM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's only like one GM change among all the coaches that
really
got
crazy.
Fired.
Yeah, no. And Arizona had a perfect reason to fire their GM this year.
There's a couple because he had to miss 4 games because of a DUI. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was kind of surprised that a couple more head coaches did not, or a couple of GMs did not lose their jobs, and they get to keep them. And some of these, and this is what I wonder though, because listen, everyone's been talking about it, and I want to get your thoughts on it. We see all these young guys get hired. We see all these offensive gurus. I feel like these are copycat moves because every owner is looking at the Rams and the Chiefs, and they're looking and going, I want to be those guys. I want to have offenses like that. I want to see points like that. I want to have a Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback. Let's get somebody that can do that for us. And I think it's going to flop horribly.
It will go badly. Being a copycat is never, you want to be on the cutting edge. You want to go with somebody who's been proven one thing's that it was curious to me, Jim Caldwell. Now, there weren't a lot of people super excited about Caldwell with the Lions when he was head coach. But now if you look back a couple of years, and he coached Matt Stafford to a couple of his best years. And nobody was interested in Caldwell this offseason. He ends up going and being coordinator for the Dolphins. Those 2 years that he was with the Lions, they were in competition. They were playoff caliber teams. And then when he left, Matt Patricia takes over.
6-10.
6-10. Matt Stafford, no longer the kind of quarterback that he was in those years under Caldwell.
I was going to say, who did and Darryl Belleville got a job, but I can't remember if that was the Detroit job or not.
He got the Detroit job.
Okay, that was
it. Yeah. And then Jim Bob Cooter from Detroit he's going to be the OC in Arizona.
What's that music that they play? That
yakety sax.
Yeah, yakety sax. That's what we need right now. Talking about these guys moving from place to place. But I kind of agree with you though. Jim Caldwell, and he was linked to the Bucs job, and I guarantee you, people and Bucs fans, and I would even say me, it's not an exciting hire, but at the same time, we've made the exciting hire. We hired Lovie Smith. That was a dud. We've gone the exciting route, and it just hasn't worked for us. And I don't think I'm not super confident about Bruce Arians, but it is what it is, and we'll see for these coaches. But I think we're going to be seeing these same teams fire or rehire new coaches in 3 years.
Well, you do want a guy who can take you to the Super Bowl. That's the goal. Right. And there's not a whole lot of coaches out there that are like that.
Right.
And that's the problem. So, yeah, Caldwell wouldn't be exciting because he isn't he isn't a Super Bowl caliber coach necessarily. So, but
he doesn't get enough credit for that Indianapolis run, I think. I still think, he suffers the Dungy problem.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Because it was Dungy's team. I'm like, yeah, they said that in Tampa too, but somehow Dungy just didn't win Dungy did win a Super Bowl, but he only won one. He only went to one.
Right.
He lost plenty of title games.
And you're not even guaranteed. The Seahawks brought in Mike Holmgren, and he brought him back to a Super Bowl, but they never won one with him, like he did with the Packers.
You guys aren't nearly what you are. What you are now, you weren't then.
Yeah,
you guys are a more dangerous team than you were then.
For the Seahawks, for sure. And but I was really happy with Holmgren all those years, going from a team that historically rarely ever made the playoffs. I think there were 3-4 in the playoffs for their entire franchise before Mike Holmgren came to town.
I remember John Kitna was your quarterback.
Oh yeah. He was the starting quarterback when Holmgren first arrived. And then we had Trent Dilfer for a little bit, and finally Matt Hasselbeck, he brought him over from Green Bay and turned him into the franchise quarterback that he was for Seattle. So I'm very appreciative for those Mike Holmgren years. And he had many playoff runs. And we made it to the Super Bowl, which was cool.
Yeah.
But it took Pete Carroll to take this team over the top.
My featured guest is Brandan Schultz from the Seahawkers podcast as we are talking about the championship games this weekend. Brandan, let's start the AFC game, Chiefs versus Patriots. Give me your thoughts.
Well, first I want to say that going into these two games, there's one matchup that I think no Seahawks fan wants to see. And that's the Rams and the Patriots. That would be, for Seahawks fans, that would just be the worst possible outcome for this weekend.
You know what fan base would be worse off than you guys with another matchup?
What's that?
If the Saints and the Patriots play in Atlanta.
That wouldn't work for you?
Well, it would be terrible for Atlanta fans. I think they'd have to move out of the city for at least the week.
That's true. Yeah, having all those Atlanta. Yeah. Oh gosh, no Atlanta fan wants that matchup.
No, not at all. But I agree with you though. I think that would be Patriots Rams. I could definitely see where Seahawks fans don't want that one.
Part of my reasoning might be colored when it comes to picking these two games.
Okay.
But I do think that Kansas City is going to be able to beat the Patriots this time.
Here's where it comes down for me. I got to see, do we see that same Kansas City defense that we saw this past weekend? Did they take it to the same way to the New England Patriots?
Well, yeah, because the Colts, I feel like there's the similarity there. The Colts were starting to be a good running team. The Patriots with Sony Michel, a good running team. And, Tom Brady can't really go downfield the same way Andrew Luck can now. if the Chiefs can exploit that, play that way, and that really get after Tom Brady. Now, Brady's so quick to get rid of the football, though. So it does kind of neutralize where the Kansas City strength is up front on their defense. I go back and forth on talking about both these games and how they're really going to play against it. But on the defensive side for the Patriots against Patrick Mahomes has done a lot of growth since they faced the Patriots last.
Well, I was going to say, if you go back to that game, they slowed Mahomes down in the first half, but then Mahomes took off, and we know what happened, 43-40. And so I look at this and I go, okay, well, that game was in Foxborough. This game's in Kansas City.
Yeah,
now,
totally different.
Totally different. And, that's a 3-point swing in the home favor, at least according to Vegas. So I look at this game and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, but can Patrick Mahomes, can he elude the pressure? Because we saw last weekend where New England's pass rush was able to get to Rivers. Now, obviously, Mahomes is faster than Rivers, but right. That's kind of the key. I'm wondering is like how to, somehow, some way, Bill Belichick always has a defense that frustrates the opponent's offense.
And being able to take away, can Belichick find a way to take away both Kelsey and Tyreek Hill?
Yes,
and that's a tough thing to do. And then you have the two Williamses in the backfield too. They're running pretty well for Kansas City. So I think Kansas City has way too many weapons, and the Patriots just haven't been the same team when they've gone on the road. I don't think that the Patriots can put up 30 points in Kansas City, whereas I think the Chiefs offense will be able to put up that many.
Fair enough. It will be really interesting to see how this all plays out Sunday night.
I don't want to bet against the Patriots, though. That's usually when they come back. I know.
You got to do it. Okay,
I got to pick the game some way.
Yeah, I was going to say you got to pick some way. All right, somebody's got to either pick the Patriots or you got to pick against them. You got to bet against them, one way or the other, Brandon.
And I kind of want to.
No, I don't blame you. Everybody wants to kind of not see the Patriots in the Super Bowl anymore.
Yeah,
and I'm not against it. But I will say this, and this is the good thing about this, because this isn't like last year where it could have been a very interesting and boring Super Bowl with Blake Bortles in Jacksonville and then Nick Foles in Philadelphia. That could have been a very boring game.
Now we could have Brady Breeze. That could be cool. We could have Mahomes Goff. That could be kind of interesting.
A rematch. Yeah. I look at it, Rams or Goff and Brady, a rematch of the 2001 Super Bowl.
Well, in that way is cool because if you consider where those two teams were at, right? The Rams with the greatest show on turf with Kurt Warner coming up, Brady, his first Super Bowl. And then now it kind of flips over. That's kind of, the Rams almost have that same kind of greatest show on turf type feel to them with the new look that they have with McVay. What if this is Brady's last chance of the Super Bowl? They beat him and he goes off into retirement. It kind of bookends the NFL story of Brady's career nicely. Maybe not for Brady.
Him. Yeah, I was going to say, not for him. For Brandon, sure.
For the NFL. Non-Patriots fan segment of the NFL.
I can't remember. What is Brady's record right now? He's 4-3.
2 against the Giants and then the one
last year against the Eagles. And he's got 5 Super Bowl wins, right?
He might have 5.
So he's 5-3. Yeah, that's right. Because he'll be going to his 9th because he's already been to 8.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense. But yeah, I mean, that would be the most interesting matchup to me, I think, would be the Patriots-Rams. And like I said, it would be really cool to see. Like I said, you can't go wrong with either matchup. But getting back to the NFC title game, Saints, Rams, I feel like their Goff has not been very good on the road. Drew Brees, they haven't played very well as of late. They've done enough to win the football game. Yeah. Where do you go, man?
The way the Saints have been starting games, and that game against the Eagles, getting out to a 14-0 hole against.
You can't do that against the Rams.
You can't do that against the Rams. And I go back to that last game that the Saints played against the Rams. They were up big at the end of the first half, and the Rams came storming back and nearly won that game. So I don't see the Saints doing that. I don't see them getting off to that same kind of start against the Rams. And that's why I think that the Rams will be able to. Now, Goff I'd go back and forth on this one too, but I think the Rams are going to win this one.
But you know what that says though, Brandon, and this is what it really is all about, is that it says that, we have got some really great matchups in the AFC and NFC Championship game. And this is the one thing I do worry about. Hopefully we don't see any blowouts, but I just don't see how we can see blowouts between either one of these games with both teams being so good.
You say that, but both these teams have the ability we've seen all season to blow out other teams.
True.
especially if you get in a hole early, if you're throwing turnovers and one team gets up by 2 or 3 scores, both teams have the ability to come all the way back, but that same ability also offers them an opportunity to dig themselves a deeper hole if they continue making mistakes. So I do like the New Orleans defense a lot better than I like the Rams defense. One difference that the Rams didn't have Aqib Talib to go up against Thomas in that earlier matchup, and now they have Talib back. So that could go well for them. They also have both C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley in the backfield. I like Kamara and Ingram, though, in the backfield for the Saints. What are they going to come out and do? Are they going to come out and be pass heavy, or are they going to try and run the ball down the field against that porous Rams run defense and control the clock and keep Jared Goff off the field? If they do that, I kind of lean toward liking the Saints.
Fair enough, man. Well, now it's down to it. We're at the end of this thing. Who are we picking? I'm
going to pick the Rams. I don't like it, but that's who I'm picking.
So we're taking Rams and we're taking Chiefs.
I'm taking Rams Chiefs.
Rematch. All right. Yeah. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Well, like I said, it's going to be an interesting Sunday night. I can't wait to watch this whole thing. You can't tell me
that the NFL wouldn't love another Rams-Chiefs matchup.
The only problem is that sequels don't always live up to the original.
Well, this one won't.
No, okay. Well, I mean, if we see 61, 58,
I want to see a little more defense.
I was about to say, I want to see just a little bit more. I mean, I'm okay with like 44-41. I'm okay with 41-38.
Yeah.
Not 54-51. I don't want to see that. I don't need to see a basketball score. Brandon Schultz, my featured guest here on the Knock on Sports. He's from the Seahawkers podcast. Brandon, if they want to catch the latest episode, how can they do it?
Check us out, Seahawkerspodcast.com. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, any place you find your podcasts. And this week, we're going to be wrapping up the 2018 season, looking at some of the quotes from Pete Carroll from his post-season press conference, and looking ahead to 2019.
Brandon, always a pleasure, and looking forward to chatting with you about the Super Bowl.
Thanks, Anthony. Go Hawks.